Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Right now we are recording at 4K at 30 frames per second, and on the Z Fold we are using the camera on its cover display. Tell me in the comment section below which one do you think has better colors and which one has a better audio.
Before we begin reviewing the pictures, I'd like to explain the testing process for our new viewers. All daylight photos are taken in auto mode with the scene optimizer activated on the Galaxy, while all other AI and beauty features are turned off. On the iPhone, there are no specific features to disable. From these samples, we can see that the Galaxy typically captures brighter pictures with more vibrant colors, while the iPhone produces darker images with more accurate tones. In this particular sample, I personally appreciate both approaches. The Z Fold 6 usually handles the sky hues better, as seen here. The iPhone couldn't retain the sky details, which is why some parts look washed out. If you prefer natural pictures with accurate color renditions, then the 15 Pro Max would be a better choice for you. On the other hand, if you like vivid pictures with enhanced darker areas, then the Fold 6 is the way to go. Both devices are also equipped with ultrawide cameras that inherit the color profiles of their main lenses. The iPhone tends to be darker than the Fold, but both produce impressive results. In certain situations, like here, the Fold manages to outshine the iPhone with a more vivid sky color. The 15 Pro Max struggles sometimes with capturing sky colors, and although it is much better compared to previous iPhones, it still can't match Samsung. The difference in picture quality becomes even more apparent in this sample. The iPhone appears too muted for my taste, while the Galaxy enhances the image, making it ready for social media. In this instance, I definitely prefer the Fold 6. The iPhone 15 Pro Max isn't bad at all. In fact, it accurately represents scenes with true-to-life shades. If you prefer your pictures to be more natural, you'll be pleased with what it offers. Personally, I enjoy pictures that are slightly vibrant, especially with the greenery more visible. Both devices zoom in with their main cameras at 2x without losing details, but here I feel the iPhone is a bit sharper, while the Fold is slightly washed out despite being brighter. At 3x, the Fold switches to its telephoto camera, resulting in more detail and improved colors. The iPhone, on the other hand, continues with digital zoom but still produces a good picture. At 5x, it's now the iPhone that switches to its telephoto camera, significantly improving the picture quality. The Fold isn't as detailed in comparison. Naturally, the 15 Pro Max performs better in this scenario. Once again, let's test their zoom capabilities in another location. At 2x zoom, both are excellent, with the iPhone being slightly sharper but a bit darker. Surprisingly, even at 3x zoom, the iPhone seems sharper here. If you look closely, you'll notice that the areas between the windows are more visible on the Pro Max, whereas on the Fold, they appear washed out. At 5x zoom, the difference becomes even more pronounced, with the iPhone 15 Pro Max performing much better compared to the Fold 6. This round clearly goes to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but I expect the Fold to improve its results with a software update. Portraits taken with their main cameras are fantastic. Both devices capture accurate colors, and I can't pick a winner in this particular sample because both are amazing. Upon close inspection in these samples, I notice my hair is a shade darker on the Fold, but this is really nothing since both are really good. Portraits taken with their telephoto cameras show a noticeable difference due to their varying focal lengths. The Fold captures portraits at 3x zoom, and it does a great job, but the iPhone really stands out because its portraits at 5x zoom are absolutely stunning. Granted, at 5x, imperfections like the blur between my hair become more noticeable. Additionally, you need to step further back. That said, the perspective at this zoom level is impressive. Despite this, the Fold remains excellent because at 3x I believe it captures some of the best portraits I have ever seen. In tougher situations like this one, where the sun was almost blinding, I noticed that the iPhone handles the subject better. My face, hair, and even clothes appear darker on the Z Fold 6, which is why I prefer the iPhone. These phones also take really good selfies. On the Fold, we used the selfie camera on its cover display to give it a fair chance against the iPhone, and it didn't disappoint. I love both samples here and can't pick a winner. My face on the iPhone has a bit more depth, while the Fold's image appears slightly flatter. Even so, the difference is minimal, and I don't think this should be a deciding factor in choosing one device over the other. Videos taken with their main cameras are some of the best in the smartphone industry. iPhones have always been the go-to device for video recording, but Samsung has made giant leaps in recent years and almost matching the quality of the 15 Pro Max. Surely the iPhone has still a tad bit better colors, but when it comes to details and stabilization, they are neck on neck. If Samsung continues to improve videos, it actually might catch up the iPhone. Videos recorded with their ultra-wide cameras are also comparable, but there are some differences that we need to point out. Compared to pictures, the iPhone is now brighter while the Fold has a darker hue. The sky is better handled by the Galaxy, but the object on the front and the ground have nicer colors on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Once again, the stabilization on these devices is simply stunning. When recording with their telephoto cameras, we can see that the iPhone offers a better zoom thanks to its 5x sensor. However, the footage is now brighter on the Fold 6. When we match them at 5x, we can see that the Fold doesn't lose quality that much. In fact, the Fold's video is still brighter and the stabilization seems to be better. Moving to low light, where all pictures from now on are taken with night mode enabled. In this first sample, both phones deliver great results. My face appears lighter on the Fold, while the iPhone has more pronounced contrast. Pictures taken with the cover display of the Z Fold 6 are comparable to those of the 15 Pro Max. In some cases, like here, the Fold even exceeds the quality of the iPhone. If we use the camera on the inner display of the Fold, the quality drops quite a bit. This camera is intended for video calls, so I don't see this as a downgrade since the camera on the cover display is really good. With their main cameras, we have a similar story as in daylight. While the sky and the building look very similar on both, I noticed that the greenery is more visible on the Fold 6. There were cases, like this one, where they were almost identical with buildings and greenery. The only difference here is the slightly brighter sky on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is surprising because the Fold usually produces brighter pictures. In the next sample, there's a significant difference with the Fold 6 being much brighter compared to the iPhone. This scene was very dark, and I could barely see myself, but the Fold managed to brighten the entire picture significantly. The iPhone, on the other hand, tries to keep it dark, but this approach doesn't always succeed. The iPhone performs exceptionally well in some samples, like this one where there are plenty of light sources all around. Its pictures maintain the nighttime ambience without being too dark. In contrast, the Fold 6 appears too bright here and doesn't look as natural as the 15 Pro Max. I have the same thoughts here even with their ultra-wide cameras. The iPhone picture is sharp and very natural, while the Fold's image is slightly softer but brighter. In places with minimal visibility, the Fold really shows its strengths, like here where it clearly outperforms the iPhone. The Z Fold 6 is not only brighter but also manages to handle light reflections better. In contrast, on the iPhone, all the lights are blown out. The iPhone, on the other hand, does a better job with the greenery, as seen here. The trees on the iPhone are darker, but in my opinion, they look much nicer compared to the Fold, where they appear a bit messy. My preferences varied in each situation. There were samples, like here, where I preferred the Fold, but there were cases, like the previous one, where I liked the iPhone more. This just shows that these devices are among the best for taking pictures. At 2x, both phones continue to perform well. Compared to daylight, the Fold shows a slight over-sharpening, while the iPhone is smoother and slightly better. At 3x zoom, the Fold remains sharp thanks to its telephoto camera, which maintains clarity and detail. On the other hand, the iPhone starts to fall behind, producing a softer image that lacks the crispness seen in the Fold's picture. At 5x zoom, the iPhone becomes much sharper, providing more detail, while the Fold appears softer. Although the 15 Pro Max captures a sharper image, it tends to be darker, and its colors aren't as accurate as those on the Fold. I initially thought the darker tone on the iPhone was a one-time scenario, but as you can see, it remains darker compared to the Fold even in this case. Nevertheless, the iPhone stands out in capturing details, while the Fold picture is noticeably softer. Portraits at night continue to be good on both, but I prefer how I look on the iPhone. My face is a bit brighter without being too bright, whereas on the Fold, my face is barely visible. The background colors also look better on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I also appreciate the blur on the iPhone 15 Pro Max because it's subtle and doesn't intrude on your face like on the Z Fold 6. It's strange to me because during the day, the blur effect on the Fold was almost identical compared to the iPhone. So, what do you think, folks? Which phone was your winner? Personally, I believe both phones have their strengths and weaknesses. For me, there wasn't a clear winner since my preferences changed in almost every scene. Even when I leaned towards one phone over the other in a particular sample, the difference was really small. If you did enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. Thank you for watching, and for more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel.